Stop scrolling. Don't move past this moment. Something inside you reacted the second your eyes landed here, didn't it? That whisper in your spirit saying, "Pay attention." That is not coincidence. Heaven has been waiting for this exact second when you would finally slow down long enough to hear what God needs you to know. You didn't stumble onto this video. You were pulled here by a presence that has been walking beside you long before you realized you weren't alone. Listen, I know you have been carrying weight in silence. The kind of weight that has no name but has mass, smiling through storms while your heart stayed tired, holding yourself together when nobody checked on you. When they saw your strength but never asked what it cost you, fighting battles behind closed doors that no one witnessed, battles that had no audience but left real scars. You thought nobody saw, but God did. He saw those nights you cried without making a sound, because you didn't want to burden anyone else. The moments you forced yourself forward when your soul begged for rest. When your body said stop, but your responsibilities said keep going. Every hurt you buried deep, telling yourself you would deal with it later, but later never came. Every fear you hid behind a smile. Every whispered prayer hoping heaven heard you, wondering if your voice even reached past the ceiling. Type 777 in the comments to anchor this energy. And here's the truth that will change everything. Heaven did hear every single time. Not one prayer fell to the ground. Not one tear went unnoticed. Not one silent cry for help was ignored. God collected every single one like precious treasure. You have spent years thinking you were just coping, just handling life, just doing what you had to do. But chosen one, you have no idea who you really are. That resilience you thought was yours, that ability to keep going when anyone else would have quit, that was divine reinforcement flowing through your veins. Your intuition, those gut feelings that turned out to be right every single time, that was spiritual discernment. That strength you displayed when life threw everything at you, that was the hand of God carrying you through places your feet couldn't stand alone, holding you up when gravity should have pulled you down. Your spirit has been active even when your body was exhausted, working, praying, fighting, protecting. Long before your mind could comprehend the depth of your calling. That is why your heart feels things before they happen. You get that strange knowing in your chest days before the phone rings with news. Why people confide in you without knowing why. Strangers in grocery stores, co-workers who barely know you, they just feel safe in your presence. Why you walk into rooms and the atmosphere shifts, tension breaks, peace enters, even if nobody can explain it. Heaven has been whispering over you for years, saying to the angels, if they only knew how much is inside them, if they only knew the authority they carry, if they only knew why darkness feared them, why the enemy works so hard to keep them confused, isolated, and exhausted. Today, right now, God stops whispering and starts revealing. Let me explain something that will finally make sense of years of exhaustion and emotional weight you could never explain. Your body has been tired because your spirit has been working overtime. Even when you didn't understand what you were sensing, your spirit knew exactly what was happening. Standing guard, praying, interceding, shielding, discerning, long before you had language to describe it. That is why you have days when your body feels drained, even though you didn't do much. Why your energy drops around certain people. Why you feel heaviness without reason. It is not weakness. It is spiritual activity. Those nights lying awake at 3 a.m., staring at the ceiling, feeling something in the atmosphere but not knowing what it was. Heart racing for no medical reason. That wasn't anxiety or insomnia. Your spirit was picking up spiritual tension happening in realms you couldn't see. Spiritual warfare playing out while your body tried to rest. Those sudden, overwhelming urges to pray even when you didn't know what for. When you had just stopped what you were doing because something pressed on your heart to intercede. Not coincidence. Your spirit was responding to something heaven showed you before your mind caught up. God was activating the intercessor in you, using you to shift things in the spiritual realm that would protect people in the natural. Times when you woke up thinking about someone you haven't talked to in months, only to find out later they were going through something devastating at that exact moment. Your spirit was picking up their cry for help across the miles, across the silence. See, you have always felt different because you are. While others live only through physical senses, seeing only what eyes show them, hearing only what ears detect, you have been living with spiritual awareness since childhood. You were the kid who could feel when something was wrong at home before anyone said a word. The teenager who knew which friends were genuine and which were wearing masks. The young adult who sensed which paths to avoid even when they looked appealing. Reading rooms like others read books, knowing when someone wasn't genuine even though they said all the right words. Sensing danger before it appeared, turning down that job offer that seemed perfect but felt wrong, avoiding that relationship everyone said was good for you. Feeling when someone hurt, even through their brightest smile, seeing past the performance to the pain underneath. You are not imagining it. You are not being paranoid. You are spiritually aware in a world that mostly operates blind. Your spirit has been spiritually trained, sharpened, strengthened through every battle you survived. Lifted spiritual weight others didn't notice existed. Your battles felt heavier. Your struggles lasted longer. Your heartbreaks cut deeper. Yet you endured anyway, not because your flesh was strong, but because your spirit refused to break. God put a warrior inside you, a watchman, an intercessor, a protector. You don't just live life. You guard it, discern it, feel it, walk through it with depth most people will never understand. And now heaven is revealing the truth. Your spirit has been carrying you, even on days you couldn't carry yourself. Your exhaustion was never defeat. It was evidence of your spiritual strength. Here is something else that will explain the strange heaviness you have carried. Not every battle you fought belonged to you. There were burdens you felt that didn't originate from your life. You would be having a good day and suddenly feel crushed by sadness that had no source in your circumstances. Waves of grief washing over you that weren't tied to anything you were going through. Anxiety attacking you when your life was actually stable. Depression hitting without depression's usual triggers. Fear gripping you from nowhere when everything around you was calm, safe, normal. You checked your life, nothing was wrong. You examined your circumstances, everything was fine. Yet the weight was real, the emotion was genuine, the struggle was exhausting. You weren't going crazy, you weren't broken. Your spirit was stepping into battles long before they manifested in the physical realm. Sensing warfare that had nothing to do with your personal situation, but everything to do with people connected to you, family members, friends, even people you had never met, but whose lives were spiritually linked to your assignment. Your spirit is sensitive because it was designed that way. You have always known things before they happened, sensed people's intentions before they revealed themselves, felt the shift in a room before anyone else noticed. That wasn't paranoia, that was spiritual discernment. And because of this gift, God positioned you as a shield where others were vulnerable. Your presence alone has blocked attacks from reaching people who had no idea danger was near, like a spiritual firewall filtering out harm before it could touch them. You have stood between your family and generational destruction. Curses that ran in your bloodline for decades stopped when they hit you because you prayed, because you believed, because you refused to pass poison to the next generation. You have prayed storms away from people who didn't even believe in prayer, stood in the gap for people who would have mocked you if they knew, protected hearts you didn't receive protection from, interceded for people who never interceded for you, loved people who didn't know how to love you back, shielded those who left you exposed. The enemy targeted you relentlessly because taking you out would have exposed everyone you unknowingly covered. If he could break you, An entire network of protection would collapse. If he could silence your prayers, attacks he had been planning for years could finally land. If he could make you give up, people you have never even met would face battles they weren't equipped to handle. Your spirit absorbed spiritual pressure that would have crushed others. That is why the anxiety you felt didn't match your life. Why heaviness came without reason. Why you felt drained when nothing was wrong. You were spiritually interceding, intercepting, fighting battles. Heaven entrusted to you because God knew he could rely on you. You have carried the weight of people's unspoken pain, felt the grief of loved ones before they told you, sensed betrayal before the knife touched your back, picked up the spiritual cry of someone miles away and didn't know why your heart broke at midnight. You weren't imagining those things. Your spirit was doing what it was created to do, stand in the gap. The enemy didn't attack you because of who you were in the natural. He attacked you because of who you are in the spirit. Your prayers disrupt darkness. Your presence shifts atmospheres. Your spirit carries authority hell is terrified of. This is why your life has felt like a battlefield. You were fighting for more than just yourself. Now, take a deep breath and really hear this. You survived things that should have shattered you, walked through seasons that would have left the average person in pieces, endured heartbreaks that could have closed your heart forever, faced betrayals that should have made you bitter, but you are still here, still standing, still believing, still capable of love, still spiritually sensitive. That is not luck. That is divine preservation. God kept you because he has plans for you that require the version of you that only these battles could forge. Every wound that healed is evidence that nothing sent against you worked. You didn't just make it, you were held. Listen carefully, because this part reaches places you have never been able to put into words. You have spent years believing that the version of you shaped by hardship, disappointment, trauma, survival, that was the real you. But that was never who you truly were. That was who you became while protecting your heart. The guarded you, the one who stopped sharing your heart because too many people mishandled it. The silent you, the one who stopped speaking up because your voice was ignored too many times. The strong but exhausted you, the one who became everyone's rock while crumbling inside. The overthinking you, the one who analyzed every interaction because trust became a luxury you couldn't afford. The isolated you, the one who withdrew because crowds felt lonelier than being alone. Those were not your true identities. Those were survival identities, temporary versions your spirit stepped into so you could make it through seasons trying to break you. Armor you wore to protect the real you while you healed. Masks you put on when the world proved it wasn't safe to be vulnerable. But now heaven is saying with absolute authority, that season is over. That chapter is closed. That version has served its purpose, protected you through the storm. And now it is time to take off the armor. Time to remove the mask. Time to meet the real you. The you that existed before the pain. The you that will outlast the healing. The you that God sees when he looks at you. You are not the pain you endured. You are the purpose God placed inside you. You are not the wounds people left. You are the healing God promised. You are not the rejection that scarred you. You are the acceptance of heaven that covers you. For too long, you have looked at yourself through the lens of what happened to you instead of through the eyes of the one who created you. You have worn labels like prison uniforms, names life tattooed onto you without your permission. Broken because people broke their promises. Alone because people left when you needed them most. Not enough because someone made you feel inadequate. Too much because someone couldn't handle your depth. Unseen because people looked past you. Used because people took without giving. Forgotten because people moved on without you. But heaven never agreed with those labels. God never signed off on those names. And today he is ripping every single one of them off your identity like removing chains. Because heaven has different vocabulary for you. words spoken over you before you were born, chosen, selected specifically for this moment, anointed, marked with holy oil for sacred purpose, protected, covered by angels you have never seen, set apart, separated from the ordinary for the extraordinary, redeemed, bought back from every pit hell tried to throw you in, strengthened, forged in fire that didn't consume you, appointed, assigned to assignments that will outlive you. Other people only saw the temporary version of you, the version that walked with a limp, that carried wounds, that stayed quiet to avoid conflict, that hid its light to keep others comfortable. They judged you based on the chapter God was healing, not the story He was writing. They saw your scars but not your calling, heard your silence but not your prayers, misunderstood your isolation, not realizing it was divine separation. They thought you were weak, not knowing God was rebuilding you from the inside out. God is lifting the weight of every false identity off you. The anger, that wasn't you. The numbness, not you. The distrust, not you. The fear, not you. Those were reactions, human responses to spiritual battles, temporary armor you wore when you didn't feel protected. But now God is restoring the heart behind the armor, peeling back the layers of survival and revealing the identity He always placed inside you. Because who you really are is someone heaven recognizes even when the world doesn't. You are chosen, and now your true identity is awakening. You are entering a divine season where God is pulling back every layer that life forced over your identity. For years you have seen yourself through fogged glass, uncertain, unsure, unaware of the greatness resting inside you. But now, heaven is clearing your vision. God is about to reveal the real you, the you that has always been there beneath the weight, beneath the pain, beneath the history, beneath the expectations of others. This next chapter isn't about becoming someone new. It is about remembering someone ancient, someone God designed before time began. The real you is stronger than the storms you faced, carries wisdom you didn't study for. Spiritually sharp, discerning, deeply connected to heaven, compassionate without being drained, bold without being harsh, loving without losing boundaries, humble without being hidden. God is waking up the you that trauma dimmed and disappointment silenced, calling forth the version of you that hell hoped you would never discover. Because once you know who you truly are, darkness loses its leverage over you. This is why you have been feeling shifted lately, like something fundamental is changing at your core. Why certain things no longer interest you. Conversations that used to entertain you now feel empty. Why you have lost tolerance for drama, negativity, shallow connections. You cannot pretend anymore, cannot fake interest in things that don't feed your soul. Why your spirit craves peace like oxygen, depth like water, truth like food, stillness like sleep. Why you are suddenly cutting off toxic relationships you tolerated for years. Why you are setting boundaries you never had the strength to set before. Why you are walking away from opportunities that look good but feel wrong. Why you are saying no without guilt and yes without fear. That is the real you resurfacing like a diver coming up for air. Your soul returning to alignment like a compass finding true north. Your spirit remembering its original design. God is separating you from anything that drains your identity and attaching you to everything that activates your purpose. This is not loss, it is pruning. Not isolation, it is preparation. Not emptiness, it is repositioning. And hear this, God is about to reveal gifts inside you that you never knew were there. Clarity is coming. Spiritual authority is rising. Your intuition is sharpening. Your sensitivity to the Holy Spirit is increasing. Doors will open that you didn't knock on. Opportunities will find you that you didn't chase. People will be drawn to the light in you without understanding why. You will begin to see yourself the way heaven has always seen you, chosen. Capable, worthy, assigned, covered. The real you is emerging, and once this unveiling begins, you will never again shrink yourself to fit into spaces God called you to rise above. This is your season of spiritual revealing. Your divine identity is stepping into the light. As you receive everything spoken over your spirit today, pause and recognize something sacred. This moment is not random. This is not just another video. This is not background noise. This is a divine appointment. Heaven has been preparing you for this unveiling, and now the Spirit of God is releasing a prophetic declaration over your life. In the mighty name of Jesus, I declare that every hidden strength inside you is rising to the surface. What once felt dormant will become active. What once felt unclear will become illuminated. Every spiritual gift locked inside you, discernment, wisdom, authority, peace, compassion, boldness, will awaken in full measure. I declare that the weight you have been carrying, the heaviness that sat on your shoulders for years, is breaking off your spirit right now. You are stepping into freedom that will feel like breathing for the first time. Freedom from old wounds, old fears, old identities, old expectations. I declare that every generational burden you carried, knowingly or unknowingly, is being lifted by the hand of God. Cycles that ran in your family will stop with you. Patterns that robbed others will not touch your life. Attacks that were meant to break you will turn into testimonies that elevate you. I declare that every blessing with your name on it, every open door, every divine connection, every breakthrough, every opportunity, every answered prayer will find you effortlessly and clearly. You will not miss what God has ordained. You will not lose what God has sealed. Chosen one, this is the season where your identity aligns with your destiny. You will walk differently, speak differently, think differently, not because you are trying to improve yourself, but because your spirit is awakening to who you truly are. You are not ordinary. You are not random. You are not forgotten. You are chosen, anointed, assigned, and covered by God Himself. If this message touched your soul, I want to ask you to do something. Leave a comment below and just type "I receive this." Let that be your agreement with heaven. Let the algorithm know that this message matters, and subscribe to this channel so these prophetic words continue guiding your journey. Watch until the very end. There is more revelation coming that you need to hear. God bless you, chosen one. Your true identity is rising, and heaven is celebrating you right now.